0, which means p is a negative value and the value of 1 minus p over q is between 0 and 1. We can simplify this by taking these two inequations separately, once this and once this. We understand that this is possible only when p upon q itself is between 0 and 1. Now we know that p over q is positive, and because it is between 0 and 1, that means certainly positive, and we know that p is negative. That means we should understand that q must also be negative, because only the negative over negative will be a positive value. Now we have to judge these three parts. The question says which of the following must be true. So the strategy must be to eliminate them by choosing a few values. So for part 1, now what I'm choosing is the value of p can be negative 0.5, while the value of q could be negative 0.6, because now you can see negative 0.5 over negative 0.6 is 5 by 6, which is between 0 and 1. But p square plus q square is not less than 1. That means the first part is definitely out. Option A is eliminated. Let's look at the second part, which says that p plus 1 upon q is less than 0. This part definitely has to be true, because p plus 1 upon q will refer to a negative value added with another negative value, so the result has to be definitely less than 0. So yes, it has to be true, so the second part must be true, which means we can eliminate all the options which do not have the second part. So now we are left with only two choices, option B and option E. Now let's quickly check the third part as well here. The third part here says q minus p is less than 0. Now we can choose a few values, such as the values that we have taken here. We can choose the value of p as minus 5 and the value of q as minus 6, for instance. So minus 6 minus minus 5, is that less than 0? Yes, it is less than 0. In fact, let's understand this thing. P upon q is less than 1. That simply means that absolute value of p must be less than the absolute value of q, and their signs must be identical. Which means q minus p, because the absolute value of p is less than the absolute value of q, so q minus p will always result in a negative value, because q is less than p, right? Therefore q minus p will always be less than 0, and therefore the third part definitely must be true. We have already checked it with the values, and therefore the answer to the question must be option E. Thank you so much.